to it and really excited about it and getting to know all of you that are going to be joining us on that trip. I think when I looked at the agenda, what I am most looking forward to on this trip is the river cruise itself. I think it's going to be really just beautiful scenery. I've been on ocean cruises. I've never been on a river cruise, and I'm told they're very, very different. So I'm looking forward to that experience. And Budapest. When I first saw the itinerary and I saw Budapest, I thought, I hadn't really heard a lot of people talking about traveling there. But since I've learned that I'm going, I've talked about it to folks, and people who have been have told me it's the most beautiful place they've ever been. And that they would go back in a heartbeat. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how beautiful Budapest is and all the interesting architecture there is in Budapest. So I'd like to introduce our representative from Premier World Travel.
I'm up.
Yep, you're up, Keith. Keith's going to walk us through lots of great pictures and give us some more details about the trip.
Well, thank you for coming out. I'm here to tell you all I know about this river cruise. I've been in the travel industry now for 35 years. I've done 5 river cruises. Somebody asked me recently, well, how many trips have you been on? I can't figure out how many, but it's about 80. So I'm a little spoiled, but river cruising is my choice of vacations. My wife and I have been on 3 the last 3 years. This will be our first year we're not doing a river cruise. And it's the best way to travel by far. I'm going to ask, how many have been on a river cruise before? Just 2. Oh, okay, all right, that's good. Because if you've never been on one, I got a lot of pictures of the boat and things. It's very different, as Kelly said, than an ocean cruise. The great thing about it is you unpack. You have your own room there, and the hotel floats with you from city to city. You know, we start in Budapest, we're going to end in Regensburg, Germany, and you're in you're the same spot, you eat the same spot, and it's just so nice and relaxing. So I'm going to tell you a little about our company first, but this trip is going about a year from now, next October. We have already 10 people signed up from the Gazette to go on the trip. Anybody here signed up? I assume there's a couple of you. Yeah, almost all 10 of you are here. We have 50 people so far booked with other groups on this cruise. The ship holds around 150, depending on if there's singles and doubles signed up. So we've got plenty of room for everybody. They typically do sell out. Usually by 6 to 8 months, it'll be a sold out situation. So I'll tell you a little about the weather, but I want to start with a little about the company. You've probably never heard of our company. We're named Premier World Discovery. We're based in Redondo Beach, California. And we've been in business for 26 years, and we came to the Gazette through another newspaper in Dubuque, the Telegraph Herald. They're our second biggest client in the entire country. In fact, I sent them off at the airport yesterday at O'Hare to Australia. 42 people are in Australia. Well, they're arriving probably right now into Australia. So we work with the Telegraph Herald for the past 13 years. We work with organizations all over the country. We're members of every major travel organization. USTOA is kind of the main one I tell people about because we have $1 million bond on our company, stating that we're a financially stable company. When we meet with new groups, I always bring that up. But business is booming in the travel industry. We've actually doubled the size of the company since the pandemic. Actually, prior to the pandemic, we were about a $30 million company. In about 3 weeks, we went from 30 to 3 million due to the pandemic. We let most of the employees go in the company. So after we survived that, business has been booming since then. So it's a good time to be in travel. Lots of places to go in the world. So when I met with Kelly and her staff it was about last April, I suggested some trips, and then they came up with some ideas, and we came up with 4 very diverse itineraries. We're going to Italy, then we're doing a Canadian Rockies trip this summer, or next summer, which is sold out with 45 people with a wait list, and then the Danube cruise, and then our trip end of October next year will be Australia, New Zealand. So we got, I think, 4 great trips, and she's already talking about expanding the travel program next year in 2027. It's far away yet. A little about our company. We stay in quality hotel accommodations. Anybody been to Sedona before? Sedona is one of my favorite places. This is the Sedona Hilton that you're looking at. We typically use 4-star hotels no matter where we go in the world. I'll show you lots of pictures of the ship, but the ship is a 5-star ship, really. We got about 80 different itineraries throughout the world. Trends change. Again, haven't been doing this for a long time. When TV shows come out, people want to go places. Yellowstone has been a big seller for us. People think they're going to see Kevin Costner out in Yellowstone from the TV show, but different things develop travel, trends and things like that. And a lot of times it's movies and TV shows. We will have a tour director with you on all of our tours. On a river cruise, we also send employees that are tour directors onto the river cruise with you. We'll usually have 2 or 3 on the ship in addition to the ship staff. Pam here does a lot of our Europe trips, but they're all American-based, and they'll be with you throughout the trip. We'll have modern motor coaches, again, at the different cities that you're at when it's needed. This is part of our staff. This was taken 2 years ago. I'm on the, which side am I? I'm on the left side. We've actually doubled the size of our inside team in the last couple of years, but this was on a cruise down the Mexican Riviera. I didn't see a coworker for 3 years. I've been with the company 25 years. For 3 years, I didn't see anybody because we were kind of staying at home for a long time. So on all of our trips that we've got planned with the Gazette, we are flying out of Cedar Rapids. So the air is included from here. You'll meet Kelly on this trip at the Cedar Rapids Airport. In all likelihood, to go on the Danube, you'll connect through Chicago, and then we'll fly out of Chicago going over to Europe, and I'll talk a little about air in a second. So this one's going into Budapest. They pronounce it Pest, by the way. You're going into Budapest, then home from Munich. Typically out of Munich, you'll have a direct flight going back to Chicago. Budapest will probably connect through Frankfurt, would be my guess. Once we get 15 people signed up, then we get an air schedule. I've already sent Kelly the schedule for Canada, so we'll have a schedule on this probably in a few weeks, assuming we get some more people sign up. We carefully take care of your suitcases throughout the trip. It's a joke, all right? It is a reminder, again, this trip doesn't move a lot, but it's kind of nice when you go on a tour that your suitcases are taken to your room, they're picked up from your room and brought out to the motor coach. I actually took this picture, a lot of these pictures are mine that you're gonna see. Sacramento Airport, anybody been to Sacramento before? This is, they call it the Statue of Lost Luggage. So if you lost a suitcase somewhere, it's probably glued. There's a pole that goes up the middle of that thing, and the suitcases are stuck there, but you're not going to lose your suitcase. Suitcases are limited to 50 pounds, all right? Kelly, is this your suitcase?
Oh no, mine will be
Bigger.
overweight.
Again, overseas trip suitcase charges are included with the flight. So again, whatever we're flying, you'll check your suitcase here in Cedar Rapids, and then you'll pray that it shows up. We don't lose too many suitcases, or the airlines don't. So this is the itinerary. I know everybody's been looking at the flyer. Again, we're going to be sailing from east to west. We're going to be going into Budapest and then sailing along the beautiful Danube. And again, you'll be ending in Regensburg, about an hour-and-a-half drive over to Munich. And then we have a extension for those that want to go see Prague, which is a beautiful city, at the end of the cruise. So almost all your meals are included. Again, I'll show you a little about what the dining room looks like for those that have not been on a river cruise before. This is fine dining. You get plenty of food. You probably need to go on an exercise workout regime before you go because you're going to get lots of food at all these meals. Wine, soft drinks, and beer are included at all the meals. There's Wi-Fi on the ship as well. So this is a shot of Budapest. It's a beautiful city, as Kelly mentioned. I've been here twice, and it's been modernized. I was there early, late 90s, and again, it's changed a little bit. It's become a little more westernized, but a beautiful city. Again, the Danube flows right through the two parts. One side is Buda, and the other side is Pest, and they combined in the 1850s to form one city called Budapest. So the next few shots here are going to show you the boat. So we're on the Amadeus Nova. I'm guessing nobody ever heard of Amadeus Cruise Line. Anybody heard of Amadeus? Nope. How about Viking? Everybody's seen the Viking commercials, right? That helps promote river cruising, those beautiful commercials. So Amadeus is an Austrian-based cruise line. They primarily, when they first started, 2008, it was for Europeans to travel on the rivers. And now they pretty much charter their ships to American tour companies. So we're in very good company. If you've ever heard of Abercrombie & Kent, it's a luxury tour operator. Smithsonian Journeys with the Smithsonian, they use this ship, this cruise line. Colette Tours uses it. There's a lot of big tour companies use it. This is a very new ship, by the way, but it's definitely a 5-star experience. So it launched in 2024. Maximum, as I said, is about 150, depending on if there's singles or not. If there's lots of singles, then maybe there's a few less. We charter the entire ship for our company. We've been doing this for a number of years. We do about 10 charters a year, all English speaking on the ship. So if you book a river cruise with other companies, a lot of times other countries and other people in Europe are on that ship, and they'll speak French and then German and then Swedish or something like that. So this is all English speaking. We have our staff on the ship. All the staff with the cruise line, they also speak English. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it does help when you're walking around the ship. All meals are included as well on board. So we'll board the ship. Again, it's your floating hotel. There's only really 4 levels of the ship. The top level is the sun deck, and then there's 3 levels of cabins. And then you don't get lost. I know Kelly said you were on an ocean cruise. I've been on many ocean cruises. I get lost the first day or two. If anybody's done that before, you start wandering around, can't find your cabin even after several days. This is not that hard. There's 3 corridors. One corridor goes to the dining room, one corridor goes to the lounge, and then the other corridor, it just goes up a set of stairs. There is an elevator on board as well. So I just put a few things up here on the ship. Again, these are 5-star ships. I'm going to show you the different cabins, but this would be what the lobby looks like. Again, this is a new ship, so it's a very, very new design and everything, very modern. You've got a panorama bar and lounge. A lot of people will relax in here. Again, with only 150 people on board, it's not crowded. It's not like I did Alaska cruise a couple years ago, and it's 2,000 people plus on these cruises. This is just 150 people. You can, when the ship is docked, you can walk on and off whenever you like, and you can go walk around town, come back, have a drink, have lunch, go back and walk around. So the lounge is very popular after dinner. People will go up here and sit, have a drink, and they'll have certain activities and things that go on, which I'll show you in a sec. So just some pictures of the lounge. We'll have, when you arrive that first night, they'll have a meeting with the captain and the crew, and there's a cruise director and our tour guide. They'll tell you a little about what's going to go on during the course of the week in there. Fitness room's not big, but you're going to be doing some walking when you go to Europe, so if you're concerned about eating all that food, you do quite a bit of walking during the course of the trip as well. But there is a fitness room. Again, the meals are very, very good. There's 3 meals a day. Breakfast and lunch are buffet style, but they'll be like breakfast, there'll be hot items that they can cook for you, omelets and things like that. Lunch, there'll be hot items as well at lunch, as well as sandwiches. And then at dinner, it'll be 3 different choices of a 4-course meal. So you got plenty of food on this, and again, drinks are included at the evening dinner. So this is what the dining room looks like. Again, you'll be seated, everybody with the Gazette, you'll be seated at a table. There are usually 6 or 8 per table. They'll have a sign that'll say Gazette on there. And the different groups that are on the ship, you'll all sit together in those same seats at dinner. Lunch and breakfast, you can just go in and sit wherever you like, but dinner, you'll have the same seats. I mentioned, unpack once is a great way to travel nowadays. We have a lot of tours that are one hotel tours. Those are the popular ones, it seems like nowadays. People want to unpack and relax a little bit. This is nice because you're still moving, but you don't have to pack up your suitcase and get out in the morning at 6 in the morning. So these are the decks. The Hayden deck is the one on the lowest deck. That's the category D and E cabins. Strauss deck is in the middle. And then the Mozart has the suites as well as some of the A cabin category. And then the sun deck, I'll show you pictures, is up on the top. And you can see the ship is fairly long. This is up on the sun deck. Temperatures in October, probably in the 50s and 60s. We don't do a lot of tours to Europe in the summer. It's too crowded, too hot nowadays. You've probably heard, in fact, you've heard about the Louvre had the robbery last week. Everybody see that? It's crazy.
Yeah.
The Louvre actually shut down this summer. The people that worked there were so sick of all the crowds. They came into work on a Monday, and then they locked the doors and went home. Thousands of people are trying to get in. So we don't do a lot in the summer, but this is a great time of year to go to Germany. Less crowded. You're looking at kind of mild weather, well, we've kind of gone from summer to fall here in the Midwest, right? But it'll be kind of 50s and 60s for the most part, light jackets throughout the trip. But you will go sit up on deck, sun's out, and you can sit back and relax, especially when the ship is docked or when you're going through the Wachau Valley. There's a heated pool, all right? So even on a chilly night, go jump in the heated pool maybe for a quick swim. And I just showed you that one. There will be cabin stewards, all right? I know a lot of hotels now don't have cleaning rooms and things like that. It's not part of it. So somebody will clean your room every day. When you're at dinner, they'll leave a little schedule out on your bed of what's going on the next day, so you kind of know what to expect. So these are the suites, 284 square feet. That's huge. You've got a big open balcony. I'll show you the picture here in a sec. So you've got a little balcony you can step out to. Some of the cruises, these sell out very quick. Again, they're a little more expensive than the other ones, but again, it's a lot larger, and you can see how spacious it is. The category A, B, and C, they're all the same size. The reason there's different prices, they're at different locations on the ship. So the more forward you are, they cost a little more, and if it's in the back, it costs a little less. I should mention, too, that there's no seasickness on a river, all right? You don't know the boat's moving, and you've been on a river cruise, would you not agree? You don't know. You wake up in the morning and you open your curtains to see if you're actually in port or you're moving. So you don't have to worry about seasickness, and you don't really hear the engine or anything, which is in the back. It's smooth, very smooth sailing through the river. So this is what the cabins would look like on the Mozart and Strauss decks. You got a TV, you got Wi-Fi. You'll have plugs. You'll have to get a plug adapter if you go on this. You've got a big picture window there that opens. It's a kind of a French-style window, and you usually store your suitcase underneath. There's everybody has a bathroom. Bathrooms are very nice, bigger than a. Well, you can see on the diagram there. You got a closet on these as well, much bigger than you would expect, like on cruise ships, like ocean cruise ships. So this is the lower category. These are the least expensive. I stayed in all three levels. The only difference here is slightly smaller, and your window is smaller. You're just above the water level of the Danube. You still got a window. The sun still comes in, but you're just above, or your window is just above the water level. Room is the same, very, very similar. Again, it depends on your budget, but you're not in your room a lot on a river cruise. You're up in the lounge, you're on the sun deck, or we're out touring. We're in Vienna, you're going to be out walking around, not sitting in your room in the evening. So there'll be a welcome dinner aboard. This was one of my meals. Again, I'm not a fine connoisseur of food, so I don't know what this is called, but I took a picture of it. So you'll get a choice of meals every night. And then we're going to go out sightseeing the next day. So if you're following along the itinerary, this would be on day 3. So that first day is a travel day. We get there, you check in and get on the ship about 4 p.m. We'll have our meeting with the cruise director. Then you'll have your dinner that night. Dinner is at 6:30 at night. Usually takes about an hour and a half for dinner. And then you can head up into the lounge if you like, or the first night you're probably tired. So that next morning you're going to do a city tour of Budapest. Beautiful, beautiful city, known for its beautiful architecture. The metro area of Budapest is about 3 million people, so it's a big, big city. Very well off as far as European cities go. It's kind of the hub of Eastern and Central Europe. This is looking up from Gellert Hill, looking out over the Danube. That's from up at the top. So this tour in Budapest, primarily motor coach. We'll do a little bit of walking as we get on and off the coach, but some of the cities we're going to be walking. It's a big, big city, so we're going to be doing a little of both. This is the famous chain bridge. This is a suspension bridge that's held up by chains. This is the big bridge that goes between the two sides of the two cities here. This is their beautiful Parliament building, sits on the river, a little like in England, you know, the Parliament building in England on the Thames. This is Castle Hill. This is part of the city tour as well. This is the beautiful Buda Castle. Most of this we're stopping, taking pictures. A couple places we'll actually go inside. It's about a 2-hour tour. I should mention, I know I have a picture in here later. Has anybody been on a tour where they have the whisper sets? Anybody done one of those before? Anybody heard of this before? So in your room, you're going to have a little battery pack, and you're going to get a little headset to put in. So the tour guide has a little microphone. When you're out walking around on these tours, you're listening on the headset, and they don't have to yell and wave and things like that. And I do joke about this, but when you can't hear the tour guide, means you're lost. They've gone somewhere, and that happened to me. You're taking pictures, and all of a sudden you can't hear them, but you can catch up, and it's a great way to travel. And again, you go charge it up at night, and the next day you bring your little headset with you, and the tour guides have a channel that they turn on. You will have different tour guides in the different cities, local guides. So you'll have a local guide in Budapest that's going to go out with you. This is the Matthias Church. This is also St. Stephen's Basilica. I see some beautiful churches. This area is called the Fisherman's Bastion. We're going to go up here. Beautiful views of the city. This was built in the early 1900s. And we're going to go walk around here. This is the Royal Palace. We'll stop here. Again, another shot of the Parliament building. So that afternoon, so the tour is going to go out after breakfast. You'll be divided up into 3 groups. Sometimes we'll have a slow walking group. And there'll be 4 groups, all right? So we'll be divided up. There'll be a local tour guide with each group. Assuming that the trip sells, there'll probably be about 40 people in the group. Then after lunch, you go back to the ship, have lunch, and then your afternoon is free to go around and explore. So I think the nice part about river cruising is you have the tours, but then you have some nice free time. You don't got to jump on a bus and go to the next place. So beautiful city. This is the big exhibition hall and shopping area. So you can go walk around here if you're looking for gifts. Budapest is also known as a spa city. This is back even in Roman times, people would come here, go to the hot baths. So you may not want to do that, but you may want to go see the Roman baths. And then this is another shot of St. Stephen's Basilica, where there's some shops here as well. Great shopping in Budapest. And then that second night, then we'll have some entertainers come on board, some Hungarian entertainers, for a little show about an hour long after dinner that night. So there's no casinos on these ships. There's no big shows and things like that. Trivia nights, little shows like this go on, but there'll be something every night for you to do, but nothing extravagant. Does that make sense? Here's some of our entertainers. So I've done this Danube cruise 3 times. The last time I did it was a Christmas market cruise. My wife loved it. I sort of loved it. We had a lot of glue wine and lots of ornaments we brought back, lots of them. This is Margaret Island. This is an island that sits in the middle of the Danube in Budapest. And we will set sail that night after dinner. So you'll have sit down at dinner. The ship will start down the river. We go under the chain bridge, and then you're going to go to sleep. And you're going to wake up, and we're going to be cruising on the Danube as we head to Bratislava. So again, you wake up, and next thing you know, you're moving down the river. You don't even feel it. I'll just tell you, if you've not been on a cruise, a lot of you haven't been on one, you don't even feel it. So these are just some shots from the ship. You can go walk around, go up on the deck, sit in the lounge. There's a great shot of the Danube there with the ship coming down the river. So that afternoon, this would be the afternoon of day 4, we're now going into Bratislava. Bratislava is the capital now of Slovakia. They separated Czechoslovakia, so this is Slovakia. It also sits right on the Danube. It's only about 30 miles from Vienna, where we're going next, so very close to Vienna. And actually, it's the only capital in Europe that sits at the border of 3 different countries. Hungary, Slovakia, and Austria are all right across the river from each other. So we're going to do a walking tour, though, of Bratislava. You may get on the motor coach first, and they're going to take you into the center of town. We're going to, again have our whisper sets, and you're going to have a guide with you to walk around Bratislava. This is what the whisper set looks like. So it's a little headset that you have attached to your ear, usually on one side, and then you've got a little radio frequency that you attach the right channel. So a guide will take you walking around. You will need some change. Remember, you're going to have to change money into euros when you go. So each of the local guides, you're going to tip them usually 3 to 5 euros per person, somewhere in there. So you're going to definitely change some money. We will have a trip meeting about 3 weeks. Kelly will be here. I'll be here. We will hand out documents, go through the whole itinerary again, talk about electric and cell phones and all those things, and money, stuff you don't need to worry about today. You got to just decide if you like what you see. Michael's Gate is this big gate there and under the tower. Here's some of the restaurants and things. I always love going to Europe because everywhere you go, there's little cafes and things. So on a trip like this, it's kind of nice. After you've done the walking tour, you see somewhere you want to go and have a cup of coffee or a drink or something like that. The ship is still there. It's not going anywhere. You can walk around and do some things. And of course, you can do some shopping as well. This is their town hall. Beautiful city. I mean, architecture in Central Europe is spectacular. Again, most of this dates back to the late Middle Ages. This is the town square, the main town square. The Primate Palace there. This is the Bratislava Castle, sits up on the top of the hill. It is a walled city, so you get to see the wall that goes around the old city. And we will go up to the castle, get out and take some pictures and walk around as well. This is one of the churches. Oh, here's the wall. Presidential residence. It's their White House. If I remember the name of the person on the statue, I would tell you. I'm one of those people, I know a little bit about a lot of places, and I don't read notes. I just kind of tell you this is what you're going to see and what to expect. Beautiful churches. If you like beautiful churches, the architecture, you'll see a lot of Baroque architecture, obviously a lot of Gothic architecture as well. Look at the inside of this beautiful church. Most of these churches date back to the 15th and 16th century. And then we will get back on that ship. We'll have dinner again in the evening. It's going to be cruising at night, and you will wake up the next morning. This is a little coffee thing that we got. The next morning, you're going to wake up in Vienna. All right, so again, it's kind of nice. You wake up, we're going to do a tour of Vienna in the morning, primarily a walking tour with some motor coaching, kind of a combination. So the next few shots are the city at St. Stephen's Cathedral there on the right. Spectacular church. We will go into this church briefly, walk around. They have catacombs. I've been down in the catacombs with skulls and body and skeletons down there. It's kind of crazy, but this is the interior of the church. They did a major renovation here back in 17, but I mean, look at the intricate stonework and everything. It's unbelievable. This is their famous opera house. We know Viennese are famous for their music. The Ringstrasse, that's part of there's a circle road that goes around the old town of Vienna. So this is part of the Ringstrasse and a park inside the Ringstrasse. Hofburg Palace is one of the famous palaces there that we will stop also and go inside briefly. And then you'll have the whole afternoon at leisure. All right, so this again, you've seen kind of the highlights of Vienna, and then you can go out and explore on your own. The ship is docked in the river in town. You don't, sometimes on these river cruises, my wife and I, we don't go back to the ship after the tour. We see some restaurant we like and we just have lunch there and we go back later. So again, you have that choice of going back to the ship or not. We have an option here. The Schönbrunn Palace is a palace just outside, kind of on the edge of Vienna that you could go to. This is some of the shopping areas that you can visit. Schönbrunn Palace, again, is an afternoon tour. Again, you would purchase any options. I think there's only 2 on this trip. During the course of the trip, the cruise director would kind of talk a little about them, and then you'd sign up for those while you're there on the cruise. Okay, I got a lot of that. Oh, this is the inside of the palace. It is spectacular as well. Look at this room. Is that amazing? This dates back, I think the palace dates back to the 1700s again, so it's almost 400 years old. So the ship will be docked into Vienna. I think we leave around midnight, so you can go out and wander around and find, after dinner, maybe go do some things that you'd like to do, or you can just hang around on the ship. The ship is docked right in town. You can go sit up on deck and have a drink. And then the next morning we cruise again. The morning is at leisure. We'll be doing some cruising. We stop at a little town called Dürnstein. I think the Danube is a good first-time river cruise for people. You know, you got the Rhine River. I've done the Rhine, the Danube, did the Rhone River in southern France. I just did the Douro River in Portugal. This has this highlight cities. It's got Vienna, it's got Bratislava, Budapest, and Regensburg, some beautiful cities. And then it also has this beautiful scenery along the river. You don't find on a lot of the itineraries you have that many great cities. So we'll stop for a little optional walking tour. If you like wine, this is a wine growing region of Germany. And then for those that don't want to do that, you can relax and walk around Dürnstein on your own and then get back on board the ship. This is a shot, typical little town. I know I got a lot of pictures, so I'm just clicking through the pictures. The Wachau Valley, this is considered the most picturesque part of the trip. This is as we're going, Austria is on one side, Slovakia is on the other, as we're heading towards Germany. So this is a day of cruising, basically, and then later that afternoon, we'll be going to the Melk Abbey. River cruising is very peaceful. You just sit back, and there's no engine, there's no movement or anything, it's just relaxing. Again, you can go up on deck or sit in the lounge. People sometimes are reading books and things like that, and just relaxing and enjoying the scenery as you go. I showed you the sun deck. Kind of what people do. They just come and go. You go upstairs. If it's a little chilly, you go up, take some pictures, maybe walk around. If it's nice, the sun's out, you can sit down for a while and relax and have a drink. Look at the scenery. This is just gorgeous going through the Wachau Valley is considered the most scenic part of the Danube. Should see some castles and beautiful homes and things on the hillside. And then we're going to come into, go to the Melk Abbey. This is a full tour of this abbey. It dates back originally to about the year 1000 was the original abbey that was here. The building that you see is, again, Baroque style architecture, was built or began being built in 1750. We're going to do a full tour of the abbey. We'll get off the boat and they will take you by motor coach, a very short ride over to to the building, and we're going to be walking through this spectacular building. So the next few shots are just walking. It's going through the entrance. There's a big courtyard, and then we're going to walk. This is people walking along this balcony here overlooking the river. And again, it's a beautiful building. Again, this is going inside their library in the Melk Abbey. Again, it's still an active school, I believe, but again, you'll be able to walk through most of the rooms. This is going into to the church inside the Abbey. And then we're already on day 7. We're coming into the small towns called Linz. Linz, Austria. They get known for their chocolates. So if you like chocolates, there's a place to pick up your chocolate. There's an optional full-day excursion, if you'd like, going into Salzburg. It's about a 2-hour ride from Linz to Salzburg. So again, if you're into relaxing, then hang around in Linz. If not, do the Salzburg trip. If you've never been to Salzburg, beautiful city, sits in the mountains. Again, a lot of history here. Again, we know Mozart's from Salzburg. This is the Giedergasse. This is the main street going through Salzburg. We'll do a tour. We'll take the motor coach to Salzburg. It will be a walking tour here, going into some of the sites, and then after that you'll have some time for lunch and some shopping and walking around on your own. Mirabel Gardens, famous for The Sound of Music. A lot of the scenes were filmed here in the Mirabel Gardens. So you'll go to several sites from the movie. This is their main cathedral, the Dom Cathedral. There's the Danube, that's not the Danube, I can't think of, this is the Inns, I think is the river here. The Salzburg Castle's up on the top of that hill. Beautiful Old Town area. Anybody been to Salzburg? Anybody been there? Yeah, would you not agree? Beautiful city. Yeah, it's well worth. I think it's worth it. The option's about $200, and again, we'll have that in your documents when we talk at the pre-trip meeting. Some of the Old Town area. There's the Giedergasse again, where you do your shopping. Mozart's birthplace. This is where he was born in the upstairs room there. This is Salzburg Castle up there at the top. This is known as Mozart Square. This is kind of the center square in town. So that would be your full day going into Salzburg. We do make a brief stop in Mondsee. Mondsee is known as the spot where Julie Andrews, Maria got married in The Sound of Music. So the church is here. This is what the church looks like. It was actually filmed here in Mondsee. So we'll stop there. We'll go into the church briefly for a couple pictures and a bathroom break and things like that. But if you're a fan of The Sound of Music, you won't see Julie Andrews, but you will hear a little about the story of the filming of the show. Apparently she went and visited the church recently in the last few years just to kind of go back to it again. Day 7 again, we'll stop in Passau. This is you can see the 3 rivers here. You've got the Inn, the Ilz, and the Danube all connecting here. Beautiful little town. You can see the ships are all docked. This is how the ships dock, by the way. Sometimes they're even side by side, so you may get off your ship and have to walk through another ship to get onto the land, because depending on how much dock space they have. So you get to do a little site inspection of different ships, but they often are lined up 2 or 3 depending on how busy they are. You can see, wait, we'll go back. If you see at the very bottom, you can see how the ships, one of them is parked in next to the other one. So again, we'll be cruising during the day here as we head up into Germany. We'll wake up and we'll be in Regensburg, Germany now. This is on the eastern end of Germany. This will definitely be a walking tour with brewery tasting, all right? So don't drink too much beer, you gotta walk back. But again, a lot of fun. Regensburg is one of the most beautiful cities I've visited in Europe. Very, very medieval feel to it. I mean, you can see the different homes here, the red roofed homes and the architecture here. But you definitely get a feel that you're in the Middle Ages in Germany. So we'll do a walking tour. Again, you'll have another guide here. The whole town is listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site to give you an idea, how important this is for tourism. It's just a beautiful city. This is their main church. I got to think of the name of it as I go through this. I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, this is going and stopping inside the church. This is their old town hall. Again, very old buildings. Again, mostly Romanesque style architecture. And then you'll have your brewery tasting, or beer tasting at the brewery. They're known, obviously, Germans they brag that they're the biggest beer drinkers in the world. The Irish and the English fight with them over that, so I don't know if it's a good thing to be known for, but this is some of your Regensburger beer that you'll have a chance to try, different kinds. This is 1 pint of beer, by the way. If you have one of these, their beer's stronger in Europe. Kelly will be helping you back to the bus. All right. So make sure you eat something before I shouldn't say I've learned my lesson. I won't say that, but yes, it's their beers are big. You get a big beer stein like this. This guy's already had too much. The guy on the right. Pretzels are very popular food items to drink or eat along with your beer. So you'll have to have a German pretzel while you're there. Obviously, sauerkraut and brats and things like that, very popular. So this is a place where you may not go back to the boat. You may have a German lunch while you're there after your tour. So that evening, we're on day 8. How am I doing on time? Pretty good. We will have a Bavarian evening. There'll be some performers come on board the ship. They'll have, at the beginning of the cruise, like a lot of cruises, they'll introduce the staff, and then at the end they're going to introduce all the staff, the cooks and everything, the chef and all that are going to come out and have a big celebration. Lights go off, and here they're setting up. And again, you'll be at your same table all the nights that you're there. This was on my last cruise. The gentleman on the left, it is on the left, right? Yeah, your left. He's the captain. The lady in the middle was the cruise director, and the guy on the right was the head chef. They all came out and introduced themselves and introduced their staff. It's a fun evening. Again, there'll be entertainment after dinner. This was part of my meal. I believe it was fish and some kind of vegetables. Don't ask me ever what I'm eating. We did baked Alaska. They had the whole staff come out, and we'll have ice cream for dessert. And this is kind of the seating, kind of what it looks like at the different tables. People weren't looking at me, they were just eating. So it's a lot of fun, and this is some people that I knew before I left, in addition to some people that you meet when you're on a cruise. So I know we're going to have a nice group of people, but you're going to be on a ship with 150 people. It's not like 2,000. You do get to know people. We formed a trivia team. This is our trivia team celebrating one night. We had won the trivia contest. I think there was 8 teams, and they have a big screen TV, and they flash up questions and things like that. We're obviously, everybody's having a drink to toast. That we had. The prize was they give you out bottles of wine. That was the prize, I think. This is more celebrating. The gentleman's head in the middle, that was the bartender that jumped in front of us. I now always remember his name is Bruno. Bruno was an outgoing, very fun guy, and the crew, they're very, very nice. He was Romanian. Most of the crew are from Romania, a country that I have not visited yet, but I'd like to go there. But you do get to know the staff on a small ship like this. That's part of the fun. We had a lot of fun on all the cruises I've been on, and this last one, you can see we're having probably too much fun. But again, it should be a great experience, to have that small ship atmosphere. You'll then disembark, and then we'll transfer to the airport in Munich. Like I said, it's about an hour and a half from Regensburg, and then we'd fly back from Munich back to home, again, probably connecting through Chicago to Cedar Rapids. So just a few things. We do have an optional extension if you've not been to Prague before. About half the ship usually takes this. Again, you'll be on motor coach now, and you'll be going from the ship by motor coach up to Prague. So the next few pictures, I'll just click through these. So this time, instead of going to the airport, you're going to get on your motor coach. We stop in the little town of, it's not a little town, but the city of Pilsen, known for Pilsner, right? So a little more beer tasting. So we'll have a glass of Pilsner, and a Czech lunch there is included on our way up to Prague. Prague, again, very old city, beautiful, beautiful architecture. Again, most of these cities, again, were closed off, during the Russian occupation, the communist occupation of Eastern Europe. So very new for a lot of Americans to go to Prague and Budapest. And again, beautiful city. We'll do a city tour of Prague, primarily by motor coach. A few places we do get off, walk around. That's the Prague Castle in the foreground there. This is the castle complex with the church in the middle. Some of the unique homes that you'll see on the little side streets of Prague. You definitely, again, kind of like Budapest, you have a feel like you've stepped back in time as you visit here. The Charles Bridge is their famous bridge crossing between the city, and then this is the church and their square. So that's the tour in a nutshell. I'm going to answer questions. I'm going to click through a few more things, kind of operational things, but you'll have a day in Prague at leisure again. So the tour has a nice combination. You've done a lot of walking, a lot of sightseeing, but you still have some time to kind of do your own thing. There'll be dinner and a folklore show. The last night, a Czech folklore show that last night. So you've got some entertainment included. and then we'll return home from Munich, Germany still. It's about an 8.5-hour flight returning back to Chicago, and then how far is it? Cedar Rapids? About 30, 40-minute flight probably. From Chicago, yeah. So everything on your left is included. All the excursions on the right are included. Again, I showed you a couple of the optional things, but you've got a lot of different things. I got Christmas market up on there. You're not going to the Christmas market, sorry. I didn't change that one. I thought I went through every slide in detail. I missed one. You will need a passport, all right? It needs to be good for 6 months on your return. We actually had a lady from the Telegraph Herald. She was off by 5 days. And we were at the airport, and Lufthansa would not let her on the plane. 5 days off. And who knows why they have a 6-month rule. I got her an Uber. She went downtown Chicago, got a hotel room outside across the street from the passport office. She waited out there at 7 a.m. Apparently she called an Iowa congressman. She was from Iowa. And they let her in that morning. She got a passport 2 hours later. Went back to the airport. I got her on a flight. She missed just the city tour. They were going to Greece. She missed the Athens city tour. Her sister left her, by the way. Her sister got on the plane and left. But, you know, it's horrifying for me because I'm there helping people check in at O'Hare, and they're like, Keith, we need your help. And they wouldn't let her on the plane. You know, 5 days off. It's crazy. So make sure you check this. We will remind everybody at the pre-trip meeting, but we just had a lady on a different group. Her name on her passport didn't match her ticket. She gave us a different name. It didn't match. She had gotten married, I guess. So make sure your passport's good. If you've got to get renewed, then you've got, you know, it usually takes 3 to 4 weeks. Exchange rate now is pretty good, 116 to a euro. Used to be about 160 years ago, so it's been getting better and better. It's been hovering around between 105 and 115 the last 6 months or so. So good exchange rate. You will need to change some money before you go. You can do it at local banks. Everybody banks different places. If you want to wait, you could change money when you get over there as well. But you do need small change for the tips for the local guides. If you do your final payment by check, you get $200 off per person. You can make your deposit by credit card, but then if you pay the final, you will get an invoice from us emailed to you about 115, 120 days before the trip. Your payment is due at 90 days before you go. And if you pay with a check and you send that in, you get $200 off. Does that make sense, Kelly? Cancellation, people always ask about this. The cruise is the only one that we do where $200 of your deposit is retained if you do cancel. You would get the rest of your deposit back. It's fully refundable up until 180 days out, which is 6 months before, which would be next spring. If you take out the insurance, we would either keep the deposit or the insurance, and we would apply that to a future travel after the 180 days. You could use that for something else. Your final payment's due at 90 days, and you've got typical most companies, you've got the cancellation penalties. I'll talk about, we call it TPP, Travel Protection Policy, so I'll talk a little about that. Deposits are $600 per person. Activity level, I started putting these on these slides because people always ask, is there a lot of walking and is it easy? This is a trip where there is definitely walking. If you've been to, most of you have been to Europe before, you're going to do walking. The fact that it's on a river cruise, though, makes this easy because you don't have to go out on the tour every day. You can go do your own thing or even walk part of the tour and then say, I'm done. Tip the guide and go do your own thing. So depending on your level of walking, it's not one where it's a lot of required walking. Elevations are low, but there is, you know, you're on and off the ship. But again, I think it's between a 2 and a 3 in my opinion, but we don't want people to think it's too easy either. Sign-up form is on the back of your form. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you do sign up, Grace is out here somewhere. She handles all the sign-up. We don't need your passport numbers now. We would need that before we do your final payment. So that goes into our record for your airline ticket. Travel protection, it's gone up a lot since the pandemic. I was just looking at one of our competitors. They were almost $700. Ours is $525. It does cover you for it covers you for full refund if you have a covered medical reason. You get hurt, you get sick, you can't go. Your partner doesn't have to be sick. They can cancel also if your roommate is unable to go. You can cancel for any reason. We don't give you everything back. We give you 75% as credit for a future travel. Dog gets sick, forgot my niece's wedding, things like that have come up for people. So instead of losing all your money, if you have the insurance, you have most of that money applied to a future trip. When you get over to Europe, again, you're covered for medical coverage as well as a trip interruption. Again, on there, the accident medical coverage is probably the one that's most important. Most of you don't have coverage when you go overseas. So we do have things happen occasionally. Tripping on cobblestone streets is probably the most common, believe it or not. People trip and fall and they sprain a wrist or things like that. So again, you always be careful when you're over there, but you are covered. I've been doing this a long time. I had a man, his appendix was taken out in Cuba. I've had people flown back from different countries too, so hopefully nothing happens, but this is kind of a peace of mind coverage. This you would take out when you deposit if you want it. You could always do your own insurance. I've got a group, a lot of other people do their own insurance plan. That's up to you as well. This is just for convenience, and the prices are pretty much standard in the industry, about $500 for a river cruise. If you travel with us, the future trips, you get $100 off on future trips, so we're going to hopefully build it up here in Cedar Rapids, where you go on a trip with Kelly this time, you go on one the next year, you get another $100 off. So that's my spiel. Again, thank you for being here. I'm here to answer questions. Kelly can jump in if she's got things to add. Did this help give everybody an idea what a river cruise is a little bit? Without, I'm not reading notes, and I know a little about the history, but I started reading through some of it over the weekend. I'm like, I can't remember when every building was built. You'll have to go on the tour to learn some of that, but lots of history, beautiful architecture, great food, and again, an easy way to travel. Questions or comments? Hopefully the people that are signed up, you still want to go, right? Not change your mind? No. Question in the back.
If we were going to Prague extension, do we pay for that with our deposit, or is that just?
You would pay for that in your final payment, but you do indicate that you want to do that up front. Again, we need, I can't remember what the minimum is on that, but we need like 20 people for that to go. Like I said, usually about half the ship does the Prague extension and half go home. That's a good question. Final payment they have on here, July 12th. Anything else? Anybody think of anything else? Yes. In the fall, river levels are not a big concern, but that's a good question. And especially this part of the Danube, they typically don't get low water this time of year. Sometimes it's the higher water. Where the captain sits on the bridge, they actually can lower the bridge down now, so they lower it down to where he's like this high. But we've not had any of these fall trips ever have any cancellations. Typically in the summer, it's a little more of an issue with river levels. And I think the Rhine River gets a lot more of low levels. Have you? Huh? Oh, they miss it. Which river? What? Which river? Yeah, it is a factor. We've not had any issues in the spring and fall at all with any of our river cruises. We do a Holland Tulip cruise on the Rhine. We do the Southern France. When I was on the Southern France, the water was actually high. The captain said we are going to go a little faster than normal so that he could get under a bridge before the water came up. And I was standing up on the deck, and the bridge was about this high. So they told everybody lay down or sit down in a chair so we could go under the bridge. But yeah, they do keep track of what's going on. But I've not had any issue. Again, if there was a river issue before you go, we would have to reschedule. Like I said, we charter the entire ship, so it costs. We put up $250,000 to hold this ship for a week. So we have a lot invested in it. So we would go on a different week, I guess. But it hasn't happened yet. We've been doing these for 20 years. Nothing's happened yet. Question. No, there's just those suites. And the balcony, it's not a big, well, you could see the ship.
There are chairs on it, right?
No chairs on it or
standing.
anything. I think they call them French balconies. The doors open and you can step out. And that's just the suites. The other ones, if you look at the picture, it's just a big sliding open window. Again, it's in the 50s and 60s. You're probably not going to sit in the balcony, to be honest. And that's probably why this ship is designed this way. It's not a sit on the balcony. We got a giant sun deck. And the thing that's nice, and again, you're looking at the picture of the ship, you don't have far to walk. I mean, if I'm down there in the cabin in the middle, there's a stairway and there's an elevator right in the middle. I'm upstairs in about 2 minutes, so it's easy to get around. And I think, again, the convenience of river cruising is my favorite way to travel nowadays. I mean, it's just easy. Anything else that we can think of? Yep.
I mean, we do think this is going to sell out. So if cabin choice is really important to you,
I'd
sign up sooner rather than later.
I had a group, that's a good point. I had a group doing the Christmas Marcus River Cruise. 3 days before my presentation, they had 20 people come and the trip sold out. So they weren't happy with me when I called and said, hey, we can't take anymore. The ship is full. We can't get another ship, obviously, at that point. So I wouldn't wait too long. Again, Everything except $200 is refundable, so you're not like you're losing a lot of money either. The $600, you get $400 back if you change your mind, up until 6 months, which would be, what, about March? Is that right, about March?
April,
Yeah.
March.
April. Other questions, comments?
Tipping on the ship, is that extra?
Yeah, so tipping, you'll be tipping the cabin crew on the ship. You can do it, typically you do it on your credit. When you check in on the ship, you're going to give them your credit card. So if you're buying drinks and things like that, you don't need to exchange money. You just sign your room and then you get a drink. Again, drinks at dinner are included, but after, unless you take a wine with you from dinner. So at the end of the cruise, you'll get an invoice, and then you can add on the tips for the crew all in one big tip. We'll go. We give you the recommendations. I'm going to say it's the cruise director. They usually get a little side tip. I think it's like $130 per person. I'm going to say off the top of my head, but we'll have those whole guidelines for you in the packet that you get. We give you a whole packet of information. In fact, you can talk for a minute.
No, I'm just I'm waiting for questions. Questions are important. Any other questions?
Keep going. Keep talking.
Okay, keep talking. You have more to cover?
No,
You're going to look up tips?
This is what you get. You get a packet of information, and this is just kind of a sample. I don't know if this is a trip that I was on. So you'll have name tags like this, and then you'll have your flight schedule and all this stuff in there. We'll go through all that paperwork beforehand with you and kind of answer questions about electricity and cell phones and all those things.
And some really cute Gazette Travel luggage tags that we've ordered. You get those too. Yeah.
Definitely have to have cute luggage tags.
You have to have cute luggage tags. We'll know what group you're with, right? They're blue and Gazette branded.
It's funny. I've been doing this a long time. We used to give out rooming lists. Somebody said they were going to sue us if they gave out their names, so we don't get rooming lists anymore. You'll have to meet everybody during the course of the trip. So name tags are nice to have, but when you're out walking around on tours, I tell people in Europe, you don't advertise, hey, I'm a tourist and I'm here walking around. You tuck it under your jacket or something like that. But for the group itself, it's kind of nice to get to know people.
Except for those little headsets you're wearing, that might give you away.
That might give you away, yes. But they don't know your name, right? They don't know your name, right?
It's true. It's true. You had a question?
If you purchase like food or beverages on the shore, do you bring them onto the ship or
Yep.
do you take them and
Yep.
roll them in the
Yeah, unlike an ocean cruise. Ocean cruise, if you buy a bottle of tequila in Mexico, you're not bringing that on the ship. They'll put that away for you. On this cruise, you could bring stuff onto the ship with you as well. What you'll do is when you get off the ship, you'll drop your key off at the front desk. They'll put it in a little cubby. And then when you come back, you tell them your name, and they'll give you your key back. Then they know you're back on the ship, and they'll look, okay, everybody's here when all the keys are back.
Good.
So it's pretty easy.
So I can bring my chocolate back.
There's
on the ship.
no like, I know on ocean cruises, you got a big crowd getting off, and sometimes there's tenders. This, you just walk off a gangplank like you saw in the picture, and you're on the land, you're in the town, it's just easy. You walk back on whenever you feel like it, you get your key and you go back to your room. We're good so far?
Great.
When is the next meeting, you said? Do you
So
know?
the meeting, if you do go on this trip, we will be meeting next September, so it's a long way away. If you want other information, again, let Kelly or Grace should probably come out and say hello. But I can call you if you got things that come up that you're thinking about. But we won't meet where I'm here for the people that are going until next September, about 3 weeks before the cruise.
And that will be just for the people who have booked that meeting.
Yeah, we won't. This is kind of your.
That'll be
This is
details.
kind of your informational meeting. Tell you what we're doing. Like I said, we've had a lot of success in Dubuque with these trips. We're already taking off here in Cedar Rapids. I mean, 50 signed up for the Canadian Rockies is pretty good.
And a
First
lot
time
of
out.
interest in this
Yeah.
Blue Danube one. That's why
Yeah.
I know this one's going to
Yeah,
sell out.
if you've never been on a river cruise, it's you can see it's a beautiful ship. It's a 5-star ship. Everything's included. All your meals are included. So it's an all-inclusive vacation. You're not forking out money for food and things every day. And it's an easy way to travel. It's just easy. All righty?
Another question?
Well, what kind of electrical adapter do you need?
So you'll need, and it's a 2-prong plug. I'll bring some samples of the plugs, but you can buy these at a Target or a Walmart or something like that. They sell them as kits. You can get them on Amazon. The only thing you're probably going to need to plug in would be your phone, probably. So you just need the plug adapter. It's a 2-prong, little circular thing. And I'll bring some samples to show you at the meeting. But you can get those almost everywhere. It'll say right on there, Europe, right on the plug thing. Yeah, it's a normal Europe one on the cruise ship, yes.
We have to plug in our hair dryers and our
They have
flat
hair dryers
iron.
in the rooms. They have hair dryers, yeah.
Other hair
No,
utensils.
Then you'll need a little adapter also, a converter. So, good question. No, not right now. So most of you have seen in the news that you're going to need a visa to go to Europe next. Everybody seen this before? It's called ETIAS. Right now, England is required. They have their own visa. I went to England this summer, did it online. I got approved like an hour later with an email back. They don't give you anything. You just show them your passport and it's connected electronically. That's what's going to be in place in Europe. It's kind of like the Real ID. It's been postponed already a couple years. So it's supposed to go into effect next November. If it comes in earlier than that, we will let everybody know, but it's supposed to, they keep postponing it, but you would need a visa. I think they said it's only like $8 or $10, and it's done electronically at home on your computer, and you'll get an electronic message back that you got your visa. And they're doing that for they call them the Schengen countries. These are the main countries of Europe, because you can cross borders in Europe, right, without having to show your passport. Everybody who's been to Europe, you can go France, Germany, all these places, just drive right in. So for Americans, they're having a little extra security in case somebody was coming in for the wrong reasons and can go between all these countries. Not us, other people. But yes, right now you don't need one. And it won't be expensive. I think they said it's either $8 or $10, and it's good for 3 years. That's a good question. I didn't put that up on the screen because I thought it would open a can of worms about visas, but you're not going to need one right now, and if it does happen, then we'll let you know. It's going to be right around then, probably November, they said. Anything else?
You're a frequent traveler, it might not hurt to just get it done, right?
Yeah. Yep. Anything else? We're good?
Another one here.
Yep.
Is there any sort of dress code for the
Good question.
The dinners you want to dress up a little nicer than maybe jeans and a t-shirt. The last cruise I was on, there was a man came in shorts and a tank top. All right, he stuck out. I think somebody in his group went and told him you need to change because he came in a regular outfit the next day, but a collared shirt and, nicer pants, kind of nice casual, I think they call it nowadays. So that's about it. There's no dress-up days or anything. The rest of the tour is very, very casual. But at night, you saw my pictures how people were dressed. A sweater or something like that, depending on the weather, is very appropriate. You're just not coming in shorts and jeans and things like that for dinner. We're good?
Other questions?
Yeah. Well, thank you
Well,
for
I
coming
hope you
out.
all join me
This
because
is a
we're
great-
really excited
I mean,
about it.
I told Kelly, I've been doing I do a lot of presentations. This is the biggest screen I've ever presented on. I'm usually used to looking at you and looking at the screen, so I'm not used to, hopefully it worked out all right, but this is a great venue. We will meet here probably again. And if you have ideas for future trips, let Kelly know as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're probably about 3 or 4 months from planning
We'll be planning
27 trips.
2027.
Yeah.
And if you want to book tonight, we have folks available to help you. We'll get you all deposits made and book tonight so you can choose your cabin.
If they don't want to sign up tonight, how do they sign up?
You can you can go online on the gazette.com/travel, and there's information there. There's a button you just click and it goes to booking. You can do it online. Or you can call Grace and she can walk you through.
Where's Grace?
Anything. Grace, are you around the corner?
Yeah. Don't
Have
hide.
you all met Grace? So Grace is in charge of the travel program at the Gazette. So you can call her directly as well, and she can help you.
Yeah, and if you get real detailed questions, and Grace can call me, or I'll email you back, or I call people all the time with stuff. So something that we can answer.
The online booking is pretty easy and
Yeah.
fast and easy way to do it.
And the deposit is how much?
600. Yeah.
And it depends on if you choose trip protection.
Yeah, if you take the protection, obvious. But travel people are like, wow, it's a lot of travel. I've seen people paying $700, $800 for it. It's the same for every age, and it covers you for a full refund if something happens before the trip. And we do have them come up sometimes, hopefully.
And you get
not
a
too many.
refund up to 6 months before the trip
Except the $200.
of
yeah.
400 of that 600.
We only do that because we only have the ship, one-time deal. So it's,
Right.
if we have empty cabins, then we're not doing a good job.
Right. We
if too
don't
many
wanna
people cancel.
Turn people down and then have open cabins.
All right, well, thank you. I'm going to be here for a while if you want to talk about anything. Again, thanks for coming out. We're going to talk about Australia in about a half hour, so
Just
I
stop
got to
up
change my
here.
mindset. We're going to a different country, different part of the world.
Australia, all adventurous.